Mark Cuban was forced to come out and say, that's the irony. He wanted people to think he's running the basketball team, that he can go to games. He doesn't have a locker in the clubhouse anymore, but I digress. He had to come out when all this was said and done and say, hey, what do I know? I got nothing to do with it. That's a funny decision you make with your PR people. Well, Mark, everyone thinks you run it. Yeah, but this one's so bad. If we were to win a title like we got to the finals last year, I'm on the court. I can excuse not getting the trophy when we won the Western Conference. Maybe I was busy talking to fans and signing autographs. But a trade like this, forget it. The game's over. Tell them I have nothing to do with it. Don't worry. We've got Miriam Adelson who will explain it all. She's the new owner. No, she's too busy figuring out with Musk how to get rid of USAID and figure out a trade war. So no, she's not available. That's fine. The team is really owned and operated by her son-in-law, Patrick Dumont. He's the face of the Mavericks. Nope, haven't seen him either. It's unbelievable. The biggest trade the franchise has ever made, yeah, including Roy Tarpley, the biggest trade the franchise ever made, crickets. Thank God they've got a coach, Jason Kidd, who knows how to deal with the media. And thank God they have a GM, Nico Harrison, who can explain to us exactly what was going on and how this trade came together. And I can't wait for you to listen. And if you're watching on Nothing Personal with David Samson, please watch. And if you're listening to this, I want you to picture a funeral that two people have to attend. One person is totally despondent, and the other person doesn't want you to know he's despondent. He's trying to explain how great a life the dead person had, and they're both there at the table. Only one of them gets to talk, and that's the one who's not fully despondent. That's the setup for the Jason Kidd, Nico Harrison media avail after this trade. Take a listen.
I like to give Rob Pelinka a lot of credit. Trades, you guys have been around here. Trades don't happen at the smallest level without stuff getting out. And Rob and I were able to have, really intense conversations over the course of, 3 or 4 weeks that started out as a coffee that, was more, hey, would you ever, I don't know, would I? Let me think of, and then it built upon that. And, we kept it between us. We had to keep it tight. J. Kidd didn't know about it. But J. Kidd and I are aligned, and we talk about archetypes, and we talk about the culture that we want to create. So I know the type of players that he likes without actually talking to him. Hey, would you like, so I know that. And J. Kidd coached them when they won a championship. So I think when you're aligned with your coach like that, I know the type of players that he likes. And so I felt good about it making sense to where we're trying to go.
Let me just stop you right there and tell you that when you're aligned with your coach or your manager, that means you trust your coach or your manager. I don't know that I've heard a bigger bunch of horse hockey, and you can tell from Jason Kidd's face there. He was despondent beyond repair. It reminded me immediately of the Shad Khan, Trent Baalke press conference where Baalke just sat there saying, that's it for me, isn't it? I have no power. I'm done. The fact that Jason Kidd, let's assume Nico's telling the truth, which I'm not sure he's telling the truth on any of it, but let's just pretend he's telling the truth, and he didn't talk to his coach because he's so aligned. I've got such a great marriage. We are so aligned with what we need that I don't need to tell her that we're moving to Iowa. I mean, that's the sort of alignment we have, that I changed jobs. I got a house. I moved the stuff. And then she came home to an empty house. And I said, listen, our relationship is so good. I know you. I know the archetype of the places you like to live and the houses you like to have. How about when you're business partners? Listen, we're in sync, man. We've built this business. We're such good partners. I'm about to do something that'll blow your mind. You won't even believe it. Instead of just manufacturing cars, we're doing something strange here. We're going to build houses, and we've taken all of our profit and we've put it into buying concrete, but we're aligned about growing the business. Didn't need to talk to you. It's preposterous. How about the fact that Rich Paul knew about the trade before it happened because Anthony Davis had to waive a trade kicker, which means the agent had to know. And guess what? Rich Paul and LeBron James are best friends. But don't worry, LeBron James had no idea about the trade. He was at dinner eating a little chopped liver, a little hummus. And he saw his phone and said, "Oh, it can't be true." This trade came together because there was a conversation between Rob Pelinka. You think Rob Pelinka has the ability to trade for Luka? I'm just throwing this out there. And Jeannie Buss has no idea, and LeBron James has no idea. Is that your theory? Go with that. Go with that. It was just Rob Pelinka and Nico Harrison getting together because they both are omniscient with their organizations. And it starts with, oh, would you ever? I've made a lot of big trades in my time. A lot. A lot of trades talk starts with would you ever. I can't say that I never did a trade with a would you ever. I certainly never did a would you ever trade without anybody knowing about it because it's impossible. How about doing a trade and then starting to change the PR spin around the trade once word is getting out unanimously that the Mavericks are morons? Everybody unanimously, maybe with one exception. I think Kendrick Perkins may be the only person in the media, but it doesn't matter who's for it or who's against it. When you are a team president or an owner and you see that you've made a move that's not popular, you go into crisis PR. You go and you start speaking to people in the media. You start putting yourself on different shows. And the purpose of that is in order to get out there why. What was the reason that this was happening? And you do some stuff off the record and you do some stuff on the record. I want to start with the on the record explanation and then move to what the Mavericks were doing off the record in order to sully Luka. Let's start on record. Same press conference. This is Nico talking about why this trade is good for Dallas.
Long term is the time frame. I think he fits our time frame. If you pair him with Kyrie and the rest of the guys, he fits right along with our time frame to win now and win in the future. And the future to me is 3-4 years from now. The future 10 years from now, I don't know. I don't think they probably bury me and Jay by then, or we bury ourselves.
Yes.
I can't even laugh at him saying that we'll bury ourselves. So just so you know, what he's trying to tell you is that Anthony Davis is better for the next number of years than Luka Doncic. Anthony Davis is 31 going 32. Luka is 25. I don't care if Luka weighs 280. Anthony Davis is hurt just as often as Luka. There is no question you can't build a championship team around Anthony Davis. And there is no question you can build a championship team around Luka Doncic. Is it possible that Luka told them that he's got a year left on his deal and he's not going to sign the Supermax deal? Remember, he was eligible to sign a 5-year, $345 million extension with the Mavericks. Did the Mavericks say to themselves, we want you to sign Luka? And Luka said, I won't? Or did the Mavericks say, we don't want him to sign, we're not even going to offer it to him, so we might as well trade him now? I'm in. If you make a decision that you've got an asset and you want to maximize the value of your asset, I agree with that. It's really hard to do in sports, but it's smart. Trading a player a year too early is better than trading a player a year too late. Yes, it may hurt you short term, so you can't go and say this is about now. We feel like we're a better defensive team. We feel like we're better able to win now. It's ridiculous. Who approved that line of thought? There's no way that the Mavericks said Luka is fat. That was their off the record reason for trading him. Oh, he's very bad conditioning. On the record, we need better defense. We're better now and into the future, 3-4 years. Luka won't even be 30 in 3-4 years, but I digress. But let's pretend that the Mavericks came to the conclusion. What do you do when you've come to the very hard conclusion that you have to sell your house, or the very hard conclusion that you have to sell any asset you have? You don't really want to, but you need the money. You got to raise cash. What do? AUCTION. Auction for those of you tired at 8:14 Eastern on a Monday morning. Nico Harrison has acknowledged, yeah, I only spoke to the Lakers. Nico Harrison needs to be fired for that comment, not for the trade, not for the decision to trade Luka, which everyone's criticizing. When you make a decision that you're going to move an asset, you figure out how to get the best return. The only way to figure out how to get the best return is to ask everybody who's eligible to buy what you have, what they would give to get that which you have. And don't believe the narrative that they didn't want to speak to other teams because they didn't want word to get back to Luka that he was on the block. That puts the horse in horse hockey. I am fine with all my players knowing that they're on the block. I'm just going to tell them, of course we're listening to offers on you. We listen to offers on everyone, including me. If our owner were called and said, hey, we want your team president, and the owner would have said, hey, is there any chance you have a box of uncooked hot dogs? We got ourselves a trade.